Tonight, you're going to eat something out of a box, or a bag, or a wrapper. You won't think about where it came from, but the real answer is far stranger than you expect, because for almost the entirety of human history, there was no box. There was no bag. There was no guarantee of dinner at all. What did your ancestors actually eat day to day for hundreds of thousands of years before a single seed was ever planted on purpose? The answer is not what most people assume. You've probably heard the story. Cavemen ate meat, big slabs of it, roasted over fire, torn off the bone. It's a clean story. It's a simple story. It's also mostly wrong. For most of human prehistory, meat was not the main course. It was the bonus round. The real foundation of the ancient diet was plants, roots, tubers, nuts, seeds, leaves, insects, more often than you'd like to imagine. Your ancestors were not big game hunters most of the time. They were foragers, constant, relentless, opportunistic foragers. Here's why that matters. Hunting large animals is hard. It's dangerous. It often fails. Anthropologist Richard Lee studied the Dakung San people of the Kalahari Desert in the 1960s, and what he found reshaped how scientists think about ancient diets entirely. The Kung, living a lifestyle believed to closely resemble that of early humans, got the overwhelming majority of their calories not from meat, but from a single plant. The mongongo nut, gathered by women, reliable, abundant, available almost year-round. Lee's research helped launch what became known as the man-the-hunter debate, and the data pushed hard against the old myth. Meat was prestige. Plants were survival. Think about what that means for your own body right now. Your teeth aren't built like a lion's. Flat molars, a jaw suited for grinding, not just tearing. Your gut is long and complex, built for breaking down fibrous plant matter over time. You are biologically an opportunist, not a predator, not strictly a herbivore either. Somewhere in between, shaped by millions of years of eating whatever the landscape offered that week. And the landscape offered a lot. Ancient humans ate an extraordinary range of food. Anthropologist studies of modern hunter-gatherer groups have documented diets containing over 100 different plant and animal species consumed across a single year. Compare that to the average modern diet, which research suggests draws the bulk of its calories from fewer than 20 species total, and often far fewer. Wheat, corn, rice, soy, sugar. Your ancestors never had that luxury. They also never had that trap. Diversity was survival insurance. If the nuts failed, there were tubers. If the tubers failed, there were insects. If everything failed, there was starvation, and it happened more often than we'd like to admit. Fire changed everything. Once early humans learned to cook, food transformed. Cooking breaks down tough plant fibers. It kills pathogens. It makes calories easier to extract, which means the body spends less energy digesting and has more energy left over for everything else. Primatologist Richard Wrangham has argued that cooking may be one of the single most important developments in human evolutionary history, potentially even shaping the growth of the human brain itself. Cooked food, in his view, didn't just feed the body. It fed the very organ that would eventually let you sit here, right now, wondering about all of this. But here's the twist nobody expects. Ancient diets were not healthier than you assume, and they were not the idealized, glowing picture that gets marketed to you today. They were inconsistent. Feast, then famine. A successful hunt meant a rare surplus of fat and protein, gorged on quickly because there was no refrigerator, no way to save it for later. A failed season meant weeks of thin, plant-heavy meals and real, measurable hunger. Skeletal remains from some early agricultural transitions actually show a decline in height and bone density compared to earlier foraging populations, a finding documented by researchers studying the shift to farming across multiple ancient sites. Farming brought more food. It did not always bring better food. Why does that surprise you? Because the story you've been told is backwards. You've been told that agriculture was the great leap forward, and in many ways, it was. It allowed permanent settlements. It allowed populations to grow. But that growth came from a shift toward a much narrower diet. Fewer species, more starch, more repetition. Your ancestors before farming were, in a strange sense, nutritionally richer even while they were calorically poor. Does that sound like a contradiction? It is. Ancient life was full of them. Insects deserve their own mention here because they're the part of the story most people skip entirely. Entomophagy, the eating of insects, was not a rare survival tactic. It was a routine, reliable food source across huge stretches of the ancient world. Grubs, termites, grasshoppers, high in protein, high in fat, easy to gather compared to hunting a large animal that could kill you in return. Modern researchers studying nutrition have pointed out that insects can rival or even exceed the protein density of red meat, gram for gram. Your ancestors weren't desperate when they ate insects. They were being efficient. Seasonality shaped everything about ancient eating. There was no year-round abundance. Spring might mean early greens and shoots. Summer might mean berries, insects, small game. Autumn was the critical season, the one where nuts and fat-rich foods needed to be gathered and where possible stored, because winter meant scarcity. Your ancestors' bodies evolved inside this rhythm: feast in autumn, endure in winter. That rhythm is likely still written into your biology today, in the way your body craves richer, denser food. As the days grow shorter and colder, you've felt this. You just never had a name for why. There's a deeper truth hiding underneath all of this, and it has nothing to do with the nutrition facts. It has to do with control. Ancient humans didn't choose what to eat from a menu. They ate what the season, the land, and pure luck provided. There was no craving that could simply be answered by driving somewhere and buying it. Every meal was earned, tracked, dug up, chased, or gathered by hand, often walking miles in a single day, just to find enough calories to make it to tomorrow. Compare that to your own life. You are at this very moment closer to unlimited food than any human who has ever lived. And yet cravings, hunger, dissatisfaction, they haven't gone away. Why would they? Your brain wasn't built for abundance. It was built for scarcity, and it still runs on those old instructions, even now. Even here. That's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. The instinct that makes you crave sugar, fat, salt. That's not a modern flaw. That's an ancient survival mechanism perfectly tuned for a world that no longer exists. Sugar meant ripe fruit, rare and valuable calories worth seeking out. Fat meant a successful hunt, a rare windfall your body knew to store because the next one might be weeks away. Salt was essential and hard to find. Your ancestors' brains rewarded these cravings intensely because in their world, following them kept you alive. In your world, that same reward system is surrounded on every side, every hour, by exactly the foods it was built to chase. The instinct didn't change. The environment did. So the next time you eat, and you probably will within the hour, think about what's actually happening. You're not just satisfying hunger. You're triggering a reward system built over hundreds of thousands of years for a world of scarcity, uncertainty, and constant searching. A world where a single meal could mean the difference between surviving the week or not. Your ancestors would not recognize your kitchen. They would not recognize your refrigerator, your delivery apps, your endless aisles of identical, always available food. But they would absolutely recognize the feeling in your chest when you see something sweet, something fatty, something salty, and feel that unmistakable pull toward it. You will eat something out of a box tonight, or a bag, or a wrapper, and somewhere underneath that simple modern act, an ancient forager is still walking, still searching, still grateful that today, unlike so many days before it, the food was already here.